Is this crypto and Bitcoin rally over? We're going to take a look here, and here's a three-zone mentality as opposed to an invalidation point. This will help you understand and visualize probabilities of continuation to the upside or if this is going to pull back. So for your midterm time frame, let's call that the 4-hour chart. Bitcoin is in the neutral zone right now, which is technically below the 4-hour 10 EMA, has not dipped down into the bearish zone. But the short-term or micro-term timeframes, if I can zoom in and come behind me here, Bitcoin is below or is in the red zone right now and potentially getting ready to use the top of the channel and the neutral zone as resistance. So the key to understanding if Bitcoin is going to get continuation is all about getting back over the top of this channel line specifically. And I want to let you know, you're not going to find that same line probably anywhere else on YouTube. So let's dive in so you can get the price right on Bitcoin. You ready? I didn't make $1,000 today or anything, but actually more like break even today, which is still an okay day, because I've had many worse days. But so let's take a look at this. I'm going to take off the three zone mentality here. So right now, short-term time frame, you have more reasons to be bearish in the micro time frame than anything. But and again, zoomed in here, the midterm time frame 3-zone mentality, you still, I mean, we're kind of creeping back into the bullish zone. So I'm going to take that off. And in general terms, the move, and this red line is the 4-hour 10 EMA. This line is the weekly 10 EMA, and price is essentially stuck between those two for right now. And this 4-hour 10 EMA is really important because it has been essentially like the best fit line of this rally. I really recommend you using it. And again, I use the MTF EMA indicator. So I click indicators. It's this one right here. Just set it up to the 4-hour 10, make it any color you want. It is a great way to interpret price. And since it typically hugs price, whether it's bearish or bullish, it's just a really good line to use in general. So let's zoom into here. And this is the line that you're not going to see anywhere else. So right here, this is a short-term time frame trading channel, top of the line. Bitcoin used it as support, made a higher local high, sort of used it as support, made a lower high, and I was longing in this area. Actually, no, I was longing in this area. I took profit in my second and third attempts to long, so I took full profits on that. Second and third times I got stopped out, so that often means something is changing, and you can see that from the 3-zone mentalities that I flashed at you earlier, right? Something is changing. It went into the midterm neutral zone for the first time in a while, and it went below the bearish point for this, and that hasn't happened in a bit because these three areas were based off price action being on top of this line that I'm marking right here and the top of the micro trading channel. And if I go to the 30-minute chart, you'll be able to see the whole micro trading channel right here. So Bitcoin essentially raced up to the top, had a pullback, essentially got rejected from the top of the line, got rejected, got above, used it as support multiple times, and then fell without, and here's the key, crypto did this without traditional markets dropping. So you have to know that Bitcoin moves with that. And a lot of times when traditional markets are right at closing time right now for spot trading, and then the futures will take over essentially. So the spot trading going over to IXIC here, I didn't think it was over this line. Why is it doing this? Well, regardless, the same move has not happened on here. So you can interpret this, and Bitcoin moves directly with this usually. So Bitcoin's way down here, below this EMA, right? And Bitcoin went below, and this is the top of the trading channel that goes back. This is a macro trading channel. So that's a big deal that price got above it, right? It's a very big deal. Let me take off these EMAs so you can see this a little bit more clearly. This goes back to the all-time high of the stock market. It's a macro trading channel and got above it. And the move down did not happen here. Bitcoin and crypto have done it independently. So what this could mean, a couple of interpretations, and again, I am not the key master. I don't know which one it is out of these options, but either algos are doing to crypto what will happen during spot tomorrow, right? As 90% of all trading volume on the stock market and Bitcoin is what you could call hedge fund big algos, right? Massaging price the way that their programs are programmed to make it go. So Bitcoin might be front running what's about ready to happen in the traditional markets tomorrow, or this is just algos playing games, tricking other algos within crypto to make some money as spot trade has closed on traditional markets. I don't know which one is going to happen, but this 3-zone mentality that you've seen behind me here, it's going to give you really good guidance along with the 4-hour 10. So let's go back to Bitcoin. But I wanted to make that point. This sharp move down happened without it happen. So from top to here, I mean, a quick 5% move, a very quick 5% move. And to understand the likelihood of either of those scenarios happening, is this front running what's going to happen tomorrow in traditional markets? Therefore, there in that case, this was the local top, and you're not going to get continuation. This was just potentially a fake out above the top of the channel, right? Or is this just a normal pullback down to the 4-hour 10, which is pretty common? It's not uncommon. Perfect wick off this line. See, my lines work, right? And you're not going to find these lines anywhere else. So you can rewind and see how I drew it and do your own lines as well. So go down to the 3-minute chart. I mean, just look how nicely it played with this line. It's exactly where it went. But I'm not going to try to long that or have a long mentality until I understand how price is going to interact both with the top of the channel and this 4-hour 10. It's going to be, you're going to get a lot of information when you see Bitcoin. So see how the price accelerate to the downside? Where? Right at this line. This line is real. It is real. Like it is getting price right. And so this line is real. And now it's hovering where? At the 1 EMA I'm telling you that is very important to use. So all 3 of these together are giving you pieces of information, but to complete essentially to quote unquote complete the puzzle, you're going to want to see how the small candles, maybe even hour closures, happen around about 23,600 is going to be the key there. 23,600. I'm going to write that in there. And that's going to be key. All right. Now, tomorrow, that same line. So let's go to tomorrow. Let me maybe get off the 5-minute chart. But tomorrow, that same line will be about 23,650. So if you're not going to set up a micro trading channel like mine, horizontal at 23.6 and with an alert is going to be, it will suffice just fine for the next 48 hours. So I'm going to be really focused on the information given to me by the candles as it approaches here. Are we going to get a rejection and then go back below the 4-hour 10 EMA? Or is it going to go here, make a higher low at the 4-hour 10 EMA, and then bust through? So I'm going to draw out these 2 options that I'm going to show you what price will very, very likely look like. I'm going to give you the 3 price paths throughout the next 24 hours that are definitely, I would say, the most probable, so you can have an understanding of just most likely scenarios here. But before we do it, make sure you follow me on Twitter, Cosasverdes with the number 2. I post some bomb charts for both crypto and traditional markets alike. And the Discord community links are in the description section of all my videos if you want to see how we're making money in a bear market. And if online communities aren't your thing and you want more of a layup with 1 to 3 daily JPEGs on overall crypto and traditional market direction, plus recordings of the Discord Cryptillion live video voice chats so you can watch on your own time, click the join button below this video and another video will pop up describing what the tiers offer. All right, so here are the 3 price paths that I see as most likely. I think that we're going to see price come up here, almost definitely. I shouldn't say that. I should never say that. It's not almost definite, but it's very likely that it comes up there. But the question is, when it comes back down, is it going to use the 4-hour 10 as support and then make higher highs and get back above this line here at about 23,600? So that's question number 1. And let me make this a little bit different of a color here. Let's make price green white kind of color. So that's price path number 1. Or price path number 2, let me get this out of the way, is it comes up here, it's rejected, maybe a fake out, comes back below the 4-hour 10 EMA, uses as resistance, and then maybe bounces here, and then potentially just waits for market open tomorrow, which happens roughly about here anyway. So I don't see much of a breakdown below this line as one of your top 2 possibilities, but after market open or just around 8:30 a.m. tomorrow on Thursday, July 21st, it could start accelerating down below there. But until tomorrow morning, I have a feeling this line is going to hold up. So I'm going to keep this as my second most probable scenario, and I will change the color of this so you can see the overlay here in a second. And then I will expand the 4-hour 10 EMA so you can see how this would work. 4-hour 10 is that line right there. Okay, so it gets above it, tries to use it as support, lower high, goes below it, use it as resistance, hits this line, use it as resistance again, and then the 4-hour 10 squeezes price below this important line right here. See that? See how it would squeeze price down, and then price would go meow as the pressure down from this 4-hour 10 gets it below this line, and bam. But that would probably, so this right here would probably wait to happen until Thursday morning. Thursday the 21st morning, so around noon to 1 p.m. London time or 1 to 2 Berlin time. So we have a couple of price paths right here, okay? And again, it's all about the 4-hour 10, the 4-hour 10 EMA, this top channel line roughly at 23.6, and this line down here. And then I would say third most likely is a more bearish case, is it does just hang out here and doesn't get to this line and then just kind of drifts down and then maybe keeps testing this line as resistance and then heads down perhaps before tomorrow. So it could get squeezed below something like this, and then comes back up to it, to both the 4-hour 10 and this line here by tomorrow's open. So if price does break down, I would expect in the early morning on Thursday it would come back up roughly to 23,000 even, to then to be more in concert with traditional markets. It'll probably come up in the morning if this were to break down, but it could easily break down after that when traditional markets open. If NASDAQ starts coming back below its macro trading channel and all of this was a fake out and the bear market rally is now over. So the three price overlays that we got, let me make this one, I don't know, yellow. The bearish one's yellow, and here you go. So these are the three most likely price paths that I can come up with over the next 24 to 48 or about 24 hours. Most bullish case here. Kind of a neutral case there, undetermined because it could break up in the morning or it could break down in the morning. And then third case, it breaks down before the morning and continues being rejected by the 4-hour 10, comes back down to 22,300, and then by morning it comes back up roughly to be, I guess, quote unquote parity with or back in tune with the traditional markets, so it can then either go down with traditional markets or keep rising with traditional markets. And this is right at 22,300 or so down here. And these are the three price paths that I'd be looking for. All right, now let's take a look to see if anything is changing on the macro time frames, like the the higher time frames, like the 12-hour, so we can determine, are these what are the chances of these lower time frames flipping or overpowering or crashing into and dominating the larger time frames. I still don't think it's quite crazy likely, but it could end up happening. So let me show you what I'm looking for. All right, I'm going to go straight to the 12-hour chart because it's my favorite time frame on Bitcoin. I don't trade the 12-hour chart heavily because the signals are, they're not as common. But just one thing though, we do have the third cross down of the stochastics, still way in the bullish zone. So it could come down here to the neutral zone and come right back up. It could easily happen, but just one thing to note, this isn't overly bearish. The 12-hour stochastics can spend quite a while up here. I mean, they can spend a month up there easily, right? So that doesn't mean it's a death sentence. It actually is more bullish than bearish technically, but it's something to consider. And you might take a level so you can zoom out and see, okay, what level does it have to pass for it to really want to come down? And you can see how you have a bunch of these wicks up, wicks up, wicks up, but the wicks down before it continues up is at the same level. So you can easily use the 12-hour chart and go, boom. If stochastics go below, 12-hour stochastics, go below 66 or so, then you're likely going to have a bigger pullback. But so this is almost like you could call this invalidation, or when you start flipping more neutral. I would flip pretty neutral at this point and leaning a slightly bearish for a pullback. I would say you're going to get a decent sized pullback, perhaps of 10% if that were to happen. So that level's at around 66 to 68 on the 12-hour chart. All right, so that's one key thing to take a look at. But the 12-hour, and this would align, if it does pull back, that would align with the stochastic or the RSI of the 12-hour going below its EMA to recheck it, and then and then potentially getting up and doing. Actually, let me use the other price path thing. So going below its EMA, getting back up, and then breaking into the green zone. Let me make this green. And let me make this white, something like that. So the white line is the EMA of the 12-hour RSI. And this pullback, I mean, it would be fairly steep if that were to happen. And it's very, very common. I mean, look how deep this pullback was before it continued, right? It was bullish, pulled back hard, way below the white EMA. So let's mark this off from here to here. Let's see how far down that went. I'm not anticipating that much separation between the 12-hour RSI and its EMA. So I would say on a percentage basis, it'll be a little bit less than this if that's what were to happen. But let's go back to price, see what happened. So that got this whole pullback. See that? Got the whole damn pullback. I don't really see that happening quite yet, but it easily could. And that was a 14% move before it got continuation. So you could easily get a pullback all the way down to the, let's say, even the top of the, or the bottom of the point of control before it tries to continue to the upside. That could easily happen. But here's the thing. There is high impact economic news coming out July 27th to 28th, essentially when Jerome Powell is going to announce he's going to raise rates by 100 or 125 points. So if Bitcoin really does come all the way down here, let's say to 21,500, I think it's more likely that you're going to get a lower high and then either sideways or down. Because you're getting too close to very likely bearish news. And if Bitcoin is going to hit its mark of, of this area here, or even the daily 89 EMA, which is, as we've been covering on my channel, it's the marker for strong bear market rallies for both traditional markets and crypto, particularly Bitcoin and Ethereum. If it's going to try to do that, it needs to have a bullish day from today and tomorrow in order to have time before that high impact economic news, which is very likely going to be bearish. I mean, definitively, probably pretty bearish. It needs to giddy up to get there now. So if it has a pullback before there, it's then is getting close to July 27th, 28th, which would create that lower high, and then you'd get a strong downside move, at least to the bottom of here, most likely. Does that make sense? So if not super bullish now, then, I mean, you're kind of running out of time to be bullish. And the chances of hitting these of this target are diminishing. Am I making sense there? Because that high impact news is going to be a big deal. Big deal. And this whole bear market rally might be based off the fact that big money knows that, and they're trying to, set a bull trap before there so they can take on deep shorts deeper into or higher up on price, which means deeper before then the algos are switched to sell hard. So they're rallying into that news. And if you get that pullback, the rally into the news is going to be smaller. Am I making sense? But at the same rate, the 12-hour, so without that economic news and things, taken into consideration, the chart, just for the chart itself, I think this could end up happening. And if you see here, this is all before July 27th. So I guess technically you could have a pullback. That's 6 to 7%, and then you try it, but it's going to have to be aggressive. If it does pull back and gets up to 25, it's going to have to be a very, very aggressive move, but it technically would still have time to have a pullback, okay, of like 6 to 8% down to 22.3, maybe 23K, and then charge up to 25.3 before July 27th or July 28th, when that high impact economic data is going to come out, and Jay Powell will be on camera again, and the markets will do really crazy stuff for that day. It's going to be, it'll be a lot of fake outs. So it's going to be a repeat of this type of shit. Like this, just straight down, straight up, straight down, like straight up. Like it's going to be an unpredictable roller coaster ride around the 27th. But I would guess when you do get straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down, the resolution will be straight down. But I would anticipate around the 27th something tricky like this, which is almost impossible freaking to play. I mean, it's really hard to play this stuff, even though during a futures workshop, we did play that perfectly. We played that very well. And then I got my ass handed to me thereafter, and I gave pretty much it all back. But we played that first move during the futures workshop perfectly, and it's going to be hard. It's going to be really, really tricky to play at that time. So in the very, very short-term time frames, you know what to look out for. This level of 23,600, how does price interact with it? And then if it gets rejected from there, can it make a higher low on the 4-hour 10 or not, or will price come below the 4-hour 10 and start getting rejected, therefore you should stay bearish. So those are the three things that you that are going to get you through the next 24 to 48 hours and have you with a strong sense of edge. Like, should I be neutral and stay out of trades? Should I be bullish? Should I be bearish? And then you'll be able to navigate price a heck of a lot better. So click this video right here if you want to know how to set up a chart just like mine. I should even show you how to do templates. It's a 28-minute Tradingview tutorial. And click this video right here if you want futures trading tips that you won't find anywhere else, geared towards people who are learning to get into futures trades. It could save you a lot of money if you check out that video. You just got Timified worldwide. Peace.